Alright, so I am back, and today we are going to be doing the Megatron War. This time, we did this last year, and this was actually the last time I did one of these. Was last time I did the Megatron one. But last year we did, it was Maketoys and the DX9 versus each other. And Apollyon's name was on the chart, but I just crossed it out because I said it didn't count. So, but now we have all four. We'll do all four. So yeah, we'll start off with the gun modes. So here they all are in their gun modes. For me, this gun mode works. I like the way the gun mode works. So pretty much all of them. I don't need the silencer or the stock personally. Now, that being said, it's not very cartoon accurate. So I'm going to move this one out of the way for a second, and this one out of the way for a second. Dog wants out. Sorry. Alright, so real quick, so this is the DX9 and this is the Maketoys. Of the two, when we're talking about gun mode, this one feels a little long, and it doesn't quite feel right for me. This feels more like a natural gun. It's still large. It's an oversized gun, that's for sure. But this one just, it doesn't quite feel right. And then there's the matter, like this piece. This isn't mine. I have a loan from Kevin. So shout out to Kevin there for letting me borrow this. I didn't quite get this lined up perfectly. That's because I just don't want to force it. It's not mine. So this one of these two look the best, I'd say. This one, it looks a little awkward, and it's got this big gap right there as well. So I'd say this is the weakest of those two. Actually, this is the weakest gun mode of all four, to be completely honest. Now, I'm going to compare this with the other two guns real quick. This one is the DX9, like I said, and it does not come with the gun, the silencer, and the stock. So this is where, this is what he should look like in the gun mode. This is how he always transformed in the cartoons. There's no exception to this. So, as far as I'm concerned, this guy, well, let's see here. Compare him real quick. Here he is with the MP. MP, you see, is a little droopy still. This is a different MP. And that's just more because, panels are really hard to line up on some of it. I'd say either one looks pretty good. Pretty acceptable. My eye goes more to this because guns are silver, not gray. But that's a personal preference there. Oh, you piece of shit! If Apollyon survives the day, I'm gonna be really amazed. He actually broke on me twice while getting him back into gun mode. And then there's him, and he doesn't look quite as cleaned up as he does. For me, I'd say this is the best gun mode. But I'm not going to give him any points, because at the end of the day, it still doesn't look like the G1 version, which should be like this. So that really boils down to Apollyon and the MP. Now, Apollyon does come with the back piece here, the stock. Like that's what they call this. And you can just slide it on the back here, maybe. Maybe. It's really, really having a hard time. This thing is literally falling apart as I go. And you take the barrel here, and you just slide it on. There's scuff marks on this guy. That's because they don't know how to make good toys. So there's that. MP. So we got the this piece here, which will slide on just like that. Now we're gonna try something. I'm hesitant to do this, but according to the instructions, which admittedly, you know, I tried to read, but I don't speak Japanese or Chinese, whatever is written in. But apparently, what you're supposed to do here is you take this, it goes on, and you're supposed to rotate it. You know what? This isn't going to work with the barrel. So I'm just going to take the word off because I'm not going to remove this. But apparently you put it on there and then you rotate it. And then you push it on the rest of the way, and it will go all the way without scratching the barrel. Again, I can't get it because of that orange stopper there. So, and apparently when you do that, it doesn't scuff. So, yeah, like that. You guys get the idea. As far as the gun mode goes, like I said, I personally will prefer the DX9 over the rest, because I think the gun mode looks the best of the four options. But the MP is the only one that actually pulls off the original G1 cartoon and toy look, which is with the stock and barrel, which this is the KO gun, but all the other ones have this silver finish. So it's kind of funny. It's like they'll do this silver, but the toy's gray. So, all right. So the MP is getting the point for gun mode. So the other categories we're going to go through, and then I'm going to stop this and transform them, and we'll get back. So that's going to take me the rest of the afternoon. But we're going to go through the categories that we're going to rate them on: gun mode, transformation, posability, which one looks the best, G1, which is the best MP, there is a difference, the hardware, weapons and accessories, cleanup, and then the cost. And that's what we're going to rate these guys on. So I'm going to flip these guys around real quick, and then we'll get back at it and see which Megatron is the best. Alright, I'm back. Completely exhausted now, but I am back, and so we're going to continue on this Megatron war here. Hopefully we won't spend too much time on it, but yeah. So the next category is transformation, and you know, now that I've transformed all of these guys a few times, I can easily say which one I think has the best transformation. And we're talking just a transformation, not the overall look when it's done. Just the best transformation that succeeds in what it's supposed to do. And that is to turn it from gun mode to robot mode. Not overly complicated, not overly simple. But for me, I have to give this point to Maketoys. I think their transformation is very well rounded. It's enjoyable for the most part. It's got a few frustrating points, mostly when you have to swivel things and yeah, but I like how the trigger ends up folding away inside the chest. It makes it all worthwhile, and just overall the transformation is enjoyable with it. The runner-up for the transformation would go to DX9. I think the DX9 transformation is awesome. It's fun. It's enjoyable. It is much more frustrating than the Maketoys one, though. I have to say that. Not super frustrating, just frustrating enough. Then comes the MP Megatron, where the transformation is too complex, and it gets to the point where it is not enjoyable for me. I mean, some people out there might sit there and argue with me. I know they will, because they did in my Megatron review, that this has the best transformation of all time, and you'll never get a better masterpiece figure. Which I whatever you guys want to tell yourselves. For me, this transformation is too much. It's not enjoyable. It's not fun. I don't like certain aspects of it. I don't like a lot of aspects of the transformation, to be completely honest. What I will say, what I did though to make my life just a hair simpler, is I took this chest piece off before I turned him into gun mode. Because this piece is what really gets jammed up there when you're flipping it back. It did make it a little bit easier on me, but overall it was not fun, because it is what it is. It's not an enjoyable transformation for me. Now, X-transbots. This thing, the first time I transformed this from robot mode to gun mode, I sat there and I said to myself, I'm like, wow, you know what? I'm impressed with the ingenuity on this transformer. I thought it was clever, well done, and well thought out. Now that I've done it a few times, all I can say is, what a piece of trash. This transformation has ruined this figure. Completely ruined it. From where it was when I first got it, I got this from Bobby Skullface. He had never transformed it, so I was the first one to transform it. And as I played with it, the first time I transformed it, like I said, I enjoyed the transformation. Then when I turned it back into gun mode for this transformation, or for this video purposes, it's completely failed in every aspect of the word of a transformer. You see the barrel doesn't stay up anymore. These fingers got jammed up in here when I was flipping it around. I have no idea why. I could not see anything that was actually stuck, but it was. It got to the point where I ended up having to get a pair of pliers and having to twist it. One of the all the fingers came off. One of them snapped off, so he's now only got 3 fingers. They're floppy. The wrist isn't very tight anymore. You see, like this panel here is floppy. These legs don't lock in properly. I've had to tighten them significantly to the point where I think the screw just stripped out. This panel here it's a mess. This thing's a mess. It's garbage now. I mean, this is just I mean, wow. So I'm actually gonna give, where I would, if it would have held together in transformation, I would have given the win on transformation to X-transbots, because I enjoyed the transformation the first time around. I thought it was fun. I thought it was smart. But now it's ruined the figure, so I'm actually going to give X-transbots a negative. in transformation. So, all right, posability. Which one's got the best posability? So we're gonna set these guys over here. Gonna get them out of the way. We'll start with MP. Now the head is on a ball joint. It's set kind of more to the back, so you get up, down, left, right. You know, you get all that pretty good. We'll get into hardware later. That's going to be the ratchets and how well it functions. But you get up and down, you get a butterfly out, ratchets up and down, and then there's another hinge here that will get you out, but it's not working. There's a bicep swivel. On this copy, that's a little loose. Elbow bends all the way, so that's great. Hand swivels. You got the thumb on a hinge. The fingers are... You got this one that's individually articulated in 2 joints, and then the rest of the fingers have 2 joints as well. So that's good. Waist swivels. Gets a little caught up in the back, but you're not going to pose them with his hips on the back. You can move the skirting out of the way. Legs ratchet all the way up, all the way back, friction out. It's a little loose there. That's not as tight as it wants to be. I want to take this opportunity to point out, to talk about why I did the update video before and showed how the legs, like when you go like this, you know, the legs do rotate, or they do flop on their own. The reason why I wanted to say that, it was not because, you know, it's a huge deal to me, but it was because somebody had posted video, and I think it was a Takara person who posted a video saying that it would not happen. That's why I wanted to show it off, is because it does happen. They just were holding it in a certain way that it wouldn't happen. Anyway, waist swivel or thigh swivel, it goes to there, so, you know, and yeah, so I mean it works. It's not all the way around, but I mean it works for everything you're going to need it for. Nice deep bend on the knee, and then the foot ratchets up and down, and there's just a friction swivel. The ratchet is placed a little further than I would like on this, but you do get that rocker. So yeah, all in all, great posability. Next one, X-transbots. God damn it. Don't mess with this fucking piece of shit. Okay, head. It's got a swivel up and down, swivel left and right. Shoulders are on ball joints, which is the worst decision on this thing. We'll get more into that later. Bicep swivel, bends at the elbow. Does get all the... does get a pretty good range on that elbow there. Not as good as MP. Hand swivel. Fingers are individually articulated. We'll get back into the hardware again. That's what we're talking about is that functioning, but they do all individually articulated. They're all on their own ball joints. Waist swivels. Moving this stuff out of the way. The hips do have friction in and out, as you can see. There's that. Bicep swivel, and then it does ratchet up and down. Thigh swivel, bends at the knee, and then the foot does rotate out, and there is a tilt, so rocker and tilt. So I'd say he's, posability wise, he's definitely on par with the MP, about equal. I'd say his fingers articulate more than the MP, but the MP's got more like, you know, the butterfly joints and stuff like that, which make him more posable for dynamic poses. Let's go Maketoys here. Head is on the ball joint, so you got the left, right, side to side, up, down. All that's great. Ratchets, nice solid ratchets up and down. Goes out to there. Bicep swivel, bends at the elbow. Again, you get a good deep bend there. Wrist swivels, fingers. He's got 2 points of articulation on the first finger, and then the rest are on one hinge, kind of like the original MP Prime. Waist swivel seems to work just fine on this copy. Hips. Ooh, that popped off. There we go. That's just on a little ball joint. Pop that back on. Alright, so you got the ratchets up and down, ratchets in and out, thigh swivel, nice and tight, bends at the knee, foot has the rocker out, it's got a little bit of a tilt. For some reason, I feel like this thing should have a swivel in the foot. The other two don't have it, but I feel like it should. I don't know why. I don't know why I feel that way, but I do. So yeah, there is that. And then there's DX9. Head is on a swivel hinge, so you get the left and right, up and down, no problems there. Ratcheted elbows, they're solid, or ratcheted shoulders, they're solid ratchets, but they are kind of quieter than the rest. You got the outward swivel, bicep swivel, bends at the elbow, and 2 points, which is still only getting you about what MP has. Wrist swivels. He's got all of his base fingers on its own joint with 3 points of articulation, and then the rest of his fingers are on individual, and also I'm going to say fully articulated. It's weird how they have it cut, but it is all there. Thumb has 2 points of hinges, and then there's also a swivel. So you get a pretty good range of motion out of that thumb. Waist. Does the waist not swivel? Let's see here. Waist does swivel. It's on a ratchet. But you do have to move the skirting out of the way to get to it. So there's that. The hips, ratchets up and down, ratchets in and out, thigh swivel, bends at the knee, ratcheted knee, and then he's got the rocker and the tilt. Again, no swivel. So I don't know why I feel. Then the only one I feel like needs it or should have it is the Maketoys one, and I don't know why. I don't know how that got in my head, but it did. All right, so Posability. It's a tough call. I'm going to have to say, for me, it's a tie in between MP and the DX9. I think they're both pretty equally posable. MP has a little bit more dynamic posing, whereas DX9 has more practical posing, but either one is going to work. Now, G1. So this is the G1 aesthetic. We're talking the cartoon aesthetic. And there's no fighting it. It goes to the MP. None of the other ones quite hit that G1 style. Now, MP, on the other hand, which is our next category, is which one fits best into an MP line. Now, one can argue that the new MP Megatron fits in perfectly because he's MP, but he does look a little bit too cartoony, in my opinion. Whereas MP10, while he does look very similar to his original cartoon counterpoint, he definitely has more real-world elements to him. Skullface did a whole video on this not too long ago, and I fully agree with him. The earlier MPs were more real-world, and the newer ones are more cartoony. And that might work for some people, but for me, my opinion here is which one works best for, yeah, he fits in great with MP, but does he fit with MP Prime? And that's what we want to make sure, because that's who they're supposed to be fighting with. They're supposed to be fighting each other, so these two would be posed together. And I honestly say that this here, with his extra long legs, his extra big head, the gray, well, I mean, I part of me loves the gray. I prefer silver, so I don't think this looks quite right. I don't. I honestly don't. I'm sorry for all those people that do. X-transbots, at this point, if you're looking for something that's, battle damage, yeah, that looks great. But, so for me, I'd say the ones that look the best with MP10 are the Maketoys and the DX9. DX9 slightly more G1-esque, especially in the head look. And Maketoys more real world-esque. Because, Maketoys puts their own little bit in there to make it kind of their own, especially in the head sculpt. So I would say these two are the best ones to pose with MP10. Again, my opinion of what I view Masterpiece is like, and that is the more real world look as opposed to more cartoon accurate. That's where they're going right now, and that perhaps they should repaint this MP10 to look more real world-esque without the chrome and stuff, because in the cartoon he was gray, just like Megatron was gray. So why is he silver and Megatron gray? See my point? Now, like I said, if they repainted him more cartoon accurate, I'd probably be all over it, because that'd look awesome. But as of now, the way the Takara MP10 looks, I have to say these two are the winners. And that's who I'm going to give the points to. Alright, hardware. Let's talk about the hardware for a minute. Where it functions and where it doesn't function. So they all have their pluses, they all have their minuses. MP, he's got, nice ratchets up and down, but no ratchets in and out on his legs. That's a real bummer. He's got a ratcheted knee, and that works pretty well. But this, seriously, they needed to put a ratchet there. He's got a ratcheted shoulder, in and out, up and down, and that all works great. And yeah, I think outside of that, and then the ratchets here, I think he does pretty good with having ratchets where he needs them. This is just the real downside. We're going to skip X-transbots for a second. We're going to go to Maketoys. Now, Maketoys, again, ratchets here. No ratchets in and out. Ratcheted knee, legs in and out. And up and down and in and out. Some nice ratchets, solid ratchets. Ratcheted knee. It all works pretty well. This needed to be a little bit tighter, I will say. And then the biggest downside of the Maketoys one, the thing that frustrates me more than anything else, is that when the legs go all the way up, there's nothing that locks them into place. There's no, like, you know, you pull it out just a little bit more and it locks into place. So the weight of the figure, as you slowly have them, does slowly slide it down, and that sucks. I'm not going to sit here and lie. That absolutely sucks. He's the only one of the three that has that problem, and I'm going to have to go in there and try and fix it. I know there's ways to fix it that require you tearing him apart. I'm hesitant on doing that, but I've got to have something to keep that leg up. Because that is just... that sucks. Alright. DX9. He's got the ratchets here, nothing here. Ratchet at the waist, as we pointed out. Ratcheted hips in and out. And then ratcheted, really tight ratcheted knees. Where all that works really well. So, for the winner, for the hardware of the figures, I'm going to do a tie again with MP. Because like I said, his ratchets work pretty well. Wish he would have had a little bit more. But where he's got it, it does work pretty well. And DX9. I think his hardware works pretty well as well. Now, let's talk Apollyon. So he's got the ratchets in the legs. You know, here. But not here, where he would need it. This fucking piece of garbage. Alright. The individually posed fingers fall off, they break off. It's horrible. Now, some companies are starting to do it more and more and more. You know, you see it with the DX9 Megatron there. But they're learning from X-transbots' mistakes. Like, if you're gonna do it pins. Do not do ball joints. I mean, this... What are you supposed to fucking do with this? And then ball joint, really? Yeah, they released it with you know, the second wave with a better, tighter ball joint. But seriously, that's the best they could come up with here is a ball joint on a $150 figure. A fucking ball joint. Now, I mean, I'm not against ball joints entirely. But when it comes to something so important like these shoulders here, and you're like, oh, I wonder why my arm doesn't stay up or stay on the figure. It's because they decided to use ball joints. This is... X-transbots gets a -1 for hardware. It's garbage. It's unforgivable. Bet you guys thought I was going to do this video full on hating on the MP. Alright, so let's talk weapons and accessories. Now, we already showed off the stock and silencer. So we don't need to do that anymore. We're done. We're moving on. We're going to start at the bottom and work our way up because because MP and X-transbot has the most. Alright, so DX9 comes in with the least amount of accessories. He's got the sword. This is, I think this was for the barrel of the gun. He comes with one extra face. And he comes with the ball and chain weapon. So, he's got some accessories, not many. But that is kind of the price we pay to get into this. Maketoys. And I need to point out, to pull his face off, You lift this back, and then you have to kind of slide it out at a weird angle, and then you slide this piece in. It just kind of slides in there, or maybe it pops out. I can't remember. Oh, well, I'm not gonna mess with it. The Maketoys one, it's a very simple face swap. You just pull the head out, and then you got your faces that you can put in there, and he comes with a total of 5 faces. You got angry, happy-ish, like maniacal face. You got angry face, slightly smiley face, and then the standard stoic face. So we're going to do a slightly smiley face, put it back on there. So it's pretty easy to flip out, and then he does come with the ball and chain weapon as well. I will again mention that I think his feet needed to be a little bit bigger. I said that in his review. I'm going to say it again now. Like I said, they all have their problems all across the board. There's no perfect figure here. Alright. So there's that. For what they have minimal amounts of weaponry, all of which function the way they're supposed to. Of those two, I would give it to Maketoys over DX9, because he does come with a little bit with more of the faces, so that's a little bit more ingenious, I think. All right, so X-transbots. This thing is, he's barely holding on, guys. He's barely hanging on. So he comes with the stupid mace thing, the sword thing. Does not come apart. He comes with the helmet, key to Vector Sigma, the pistol he used to kill Prime with, and he comes with one extra little chest piece to show off where he got hit with the asteroid. But the way they glued it on, or the way they taped it in the box, means he's got all this residue. So he does have more accessories than the other two, but they're not really. I mean, how many times are you going to pose him with this piece? You know, you pull this off, and things are going to get even floppier. Alright, now let's get into the really fun one. So, MP Megatron. We all are in agreement here. He's got the best of the accessories. Hands down, he's got the best one. There's no question. So, you know, he's got the stock and barrel, which, like I said, we already looked at. He's got 3 different faces. He's got the damaged one. Or he's got 4, because he's got the stoic one, the damaged one. He's got the laughing one. And then he's got like an angry one. Okay. And all you had to do for that is you just pull that out and you put that on. It's simple, yet it works really well. So, no problems with it whatsoever. Although I seem to be having a problem with it right now. And that is not the figure's fault. There we go. Now, okay. He's got the helmet. Just like the X-transbot, this one's, I'd say, is painted better. Let me kind of trying to keep all this stuff in the tray here. Yeah, I'd say this one's better painted, better sculpted. And just overall, it's just looks better. You know, fits on just fine. Comes with the key to Vector Sigma as well. Big difference, this is die cast, whereas this is cheap plastic. So, got that. He comes with the beam sword, which is really neat because you can unplug that, so you just be holding the beam sword part, or the handle, and then you just plug that in like that. He's got the pistol, so we'll show that so you can see the difference between the pistols. This one's got, a nice glossy finish to it, but so does this one. This one's, the lighter purple and dark purple, that's silver and purple. I think this one fits just a little bit better. I'd have to rewatch that scene because I can't remember which one is more accurate, but this one just seems better. And then, oh yeah, let's get a beam sword. You got one that's clear plastic, one that's only the blade is clear plastic. So, I wonder which one I'd say better there. He's got the damaged chest torso, which is awesome. He's got the ball and chain like all the other ones have, only this is plastic instead of metal. But then he also has the plastic piece here that will just make it so that you can pose it at a stoic pose as opposed to just hanging there. So all in all, the MP beats all of them put together for weapons and accessories. You'll never hear me say the MP fails at all levels. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I will sit here and I will say that I think his weapons and accessories are the best. I mean, if they could sell just the tray of weapons and accessories, I'd be all over that for one of my Megatrons. All right. So next up, cleanup. Which one cleans up the best? So, let's start with what I would say is the worst. Whatever's left of this guy. On the surface, he cleans up better, but because he's like just barely holding together at this point, I would say no, he does not clean up better. This leg crap, and it just the DX9, I have to say, would be the next worst when it comes to cleaning up. On the front, he looks pretty clean, as you can see. He looks good. Now there are these red panels here that do extend down, but they're really hard to get out, so I ain't gonna do that. But then you get to the back, and he's got this kind of backpack going on. This is just kind of hanging outside. Although you notice me fiddling with all the barrels. His is the only one that does it. I don't have to fiddle with. Another reason why he gets a point with the hardware. This piece you just kind of have to find a place to set it because it doesn't really have a home. It just kind of, yeah. So, yeah, that's an issue. That's not very clean. Then there is the MP. Now, as far as like actual kibble hanging off of him goes, he does clean up pretty well. But then when you look at it, like this just looks bad. I have to say, this all looks bad here. I don't like the way this looks. I don't like the way this looks. I don't like the way any of this torso looks. I don't like the way these X-transbots moving. I don't like the way these legs look. I don't like the way the arms are so skinny and flat. I mean, look at this. It just, this is kind of like caving in on itself. It looks like this is. I don't like the way this looks at all. Silhouette wise, he cleans up better than DX9, but look wise, for me, I don't like it. I do not like it. But the one I will say cleans up the best is the Maketoys one. I like the fact that you got these pieces here that look almost identical to one another when they're completely different. I like how the back cleans up all nice and neat right there. You know, you got this little piece of kibble, but it has to go somewhere. Everybody has that little bits. Arms clean up better, legs clean up pretty well, and the skirting cleans up pretty well as well. So as far as cleanup goes, I have to give this to Maketoys. I think they did the best job of the three. Now, X-transbots, aside from their waist down, the top half probably I would say would clean up better than the rest if it would hold together. The longer this video goes, the worse this thing gets. Alright, now let's talk about cost. So this is a $150 figure. That's about average, about 140 something, 147, something like that. This is the cheapest at about 120. This is the most expensive at 230. Now, one could make an argument. We'll get to X-transbot in a minute, because there's one thing in particular I want to talk about him in particular. One thing that people can make an argument for is that the MP is more expensive than, let's say, okay, he's more expensive than him because he's got better, like, he's just thicker, if that makes sense. And he's got a little bit, I don't want to say better hardware, but maybe he's just overall like more than he is. Now, MP on the other hand, he's got a lot of electronics in it. I hear he has got like the Japanese voice and the laser action and all that stuff. I'm not going to put batteries in there, so I'm not gonna know. So one could argue that because of that and the fact that he comes with more accessories than both of these guys put together, that one could say that's why he's superior or more costly. I would say that's bullshit. I think it's more Takara's just pricing it to whatever the hell they want to. Look at the Seekers, charging $200 for a $70 figure. That's insane. I can't agree with it. So I honestly think the only reason why he's so expensive is because they felt like making him that price. And nothing more than that. Nothing more. So as far as cost goes, I would give it to DX9 and Maketoys. Yes, the cost of admission here means that you're not going to get the silencer in the stock, but I think it's a price that most people are willing to pay because not many people display them in gun mode. So that's my thought process. As far as price goes, I would say Maketoys and DX9 are the best with that. So, I'm trying to watch the camera here. Okay, didn't do anything weird. Okay, so cost there. MP does not get a point here because I think I think the only reason why he's more expensive is just because they feel like it. Now, one thing I want to point out with him is, and some people say, oh, well, he's cost very appropriately for what he is. The Takara MP Prime is the same price. Well, MP Prime also comes with the trailer. I hate these feet. I cannot stand his feet. Seriously, they suck. Anyway, but the MP Prime comes with the trailer. But you also have to remember, like, the Fans Toys Grimlock is $30 cheaper than this thing. So no, he does not get a point for the cost. Now, what I want to say talk about real briefly, and then we'll do one more thing before we add it all up. X-transbot. When he first came out, he was $150. And, you know, you could say that's about where he should be. Well, the first wave sold out real quickly. And X-transbot was like, ooh, we got a big cash cow here. So the second wave, they increased the price by like $15. Not much, but at the same time, they did nothing to address any of the fixes, aside from the ball joint. Are you telling me that that ball joint that really makes this figure flawed is worth $15? Because I don't think so. And I don't think that people should be paying $15 more to get something that they failed at. So the fact that they jumped the price up just because they could, and they knew people were going to pay for it, that's bullshit. So they get a minus in cost because of this. They lose another point that they never had because they could not, because they're just being greedy little, grubby little, I don't even know what to say. It's just wretched. Just, Alright, now, Laserbeak. Let's see here. So you can take Laserbeak here and you can put him on his arm, I believe. Right? Does it fit on there? Yep. So that's cool. This is just like a kind of a bonus round, I guess. Forgot to do this with the Make MP when it came out. There is nothing on here that you can attach him to. Let's see, how about you? Attach Laserbeak on somewhere. Nope. Nope. Can't do it there. And how about you? Alright. So if attaching Laserbeak to the arm... Alright. We're done with it. But, Laserbeak. That one's kind of a floppy mess anyway. Attaching Laserbeak to an arm... If that's like an important thing to you, X-transbot and DX9 are the only ones that actually have the port for it. Maketoys and MP do not. Alright, so let's add up the points and let's see who is the superior Megatron. Tried to be as unbiased as I could with as much as I could. So MP has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. X-transbot has -3 points. Maketoys has 1, 2, 3, 4 points. And DX9 has 1, 2, 3, 4 points. So the winner is MP. Despite the fact that I don't like the MP. He's not my favorite. Sorry, I was just watching the camera time. He's not my favorite figure. I don't like the MP at all myself. I will never own that thing. But I will admit, when we actually break it down, he is the better figure. Maketoys and DX9 are about equal. They both have their pluses and the minuses. When I did this before a year ago, I said the DX9 is the better one. I personally would prefer the DX9 one over the Maketoys one. But I don't think you're going to lose with either one of those. I don't think you're losing with the MP either, except for the fact that your wallet's going to take a major hit. You could almost purchase both the DX9 and the Maketoys one for the same price. Like retail, I think you're talking $280 as opposed to $230 for an MP. So like a $50 difference between owning 2 as opposed to 1. Now you get these guys on the Facebook groups and get them real cheap too. X-transbots is total piece of garbage. And for all of you people out there that are saying that he's still good, you know, if you don't ever touch him, maybe he'll be fine. Maybe you glue them all together. He might be great. I was going to do this big skit where I destroy this thing, but I honestly don't think I could do more damage than the transformation. I honestly don't. That's fucking sad. I don't recommend X-transbots whatsoever. I'll recommend all the other 3. I don't prefer them in P, but I can see where people are saying it now that I've broken it down a little bit more. But I think we're all winners here with these 3 options. X-transbot completely disregarded from this conversation because he is garbage. And quite frankly, I was right the first time when I just crossed the whole line out for him. This thing is trash. It was trash when it first came out. It is trash now. And now we just have better eyes to see it, I would say.